Mr. Pete Russell, thank you very much for talking to us. We're just hours away now from the very last match of CPL 2023. Just reflect a bit on how things started, a slow start in St. Lucia, but since then, the tournament has really gained momentum and we're at this point now.
Yeah, I think, as you say, we've got the ideal final in many regards. You've got the two big guns going at each other. So Trinidad-Guyana final in Guyana is pretty much what the dream final. As you say, slow start. We had 6 matches completed, but 4 of those have been postponed by the time we left St. Lucia, which was a real shame. But we haven't had a drop of rain since, and obviously all the games have been completed. So, as you say, it's built really nicely, and I think tonight will be a classic.
Right. You mentioned a dream final between TKR and the Warriors. It must be a good thing, though, to have these two teams play as many as 4 times in one season.
Yeah, it is, but you don't want to forget about the other teams. You've obviously got Jamaica put up a good run, and many thought actually they were going to do it again. And I think the only weak team, I guess, this year was St. Kitts. I think the others all could have, on their day, beaten each other. So it was. But again, you always like to see Guyana, Trinidad, because it's nice and spicy. Right.
Let's talk a bit about scheduling, because a lot of persons have been talking about the schedule this year and matches not being played, especially on a Friday. What are some of the challenges in terms of putting together a tournament in such a short space of time and not having matches maybe consecutively?
Yeah, if you remember the way we used to do it, where we had 2 crews, and
television crew, that is.
Television crews, and people were crisscrossing the Caribbean. So COVID taught us that actually you can take everyone into one location and run it efficiently there. So if you do that, which is of course what we've done, players have to have days off, so you can't continually back up players to perform. But that said, also what I want to do is keep Fridays free going forward, because I want to keep that as our entertainment night. So I want people to come for a weekend of CPL, which is nice concert on a Friday and then cricket on Saturday and Sunday. So we just wanted to see how the schedule would work that way.
Right, and this format would continue going forward, where you have tournaments, the legs being held in specific countries.
Well, I think if Jamaica come back in, which I sincerely hope they do, then we'll change it again, because you won't be able to do that. We just don't have enough time to move and set up once you put another country in place. So, the idea would be that if we went to 6 countries again, we'd have 2 crews.
Right, and Brandon King, the Talbot's captain, did mention about the fact that they want to play in Jamaica. What is the discussion like with authorities there, and how soon could we see matches returning?
Well, we had discussions and quite an in-depth presentation with them back in January, which gave them a fairly clear proposal as to how we thought it would work and could work. So we haven't necessarily had feedback on that. Hopefully at the end of this tournament we'll then engage again and see where they want to go with cricket, because it's surprising again they're not hosting any World Cup matches, and obviously CPL now is the largest sporting event in the region, so you would hope that they would be behind that. So let's wait and see. I'm very hopeful that we'll get a deal done.
You had an expanded women's tournament this year, more matches for the females. How's that been going in terms of that platform for women's cricket in the Caribbean?
Well, I think the games, if you're a cricket man, so you can see that the quality of the games improved. Significantly, I would say. So the international players played a large role in that, which was great to see. So I think from our side, we'll just continue to build that, but we've got to do it in a way which makes sense. So you don't want to overstretch the resources in terms of the number of players that are down here, but we're very happy with it.
Right, and one of the other innovations we had, new innovations actually for this tournament, is the red card. Kieran Pollard and Jason Holder did mention publicly their disagreement with it. How would you proceed with that going forward? Would it something continue?
100% we're going to continue with it, because it reduced the time of the games to what they should be played in. So even the red cards, teams were only sort of 2 minutes over, but we reduced the average amount of playing time by 20 minutes. So if you can do that, and still there's only, I think, 3 red cards in total by the end, it's done its job. And look, players are always going to be anti something which potentially has an impact on them. But we thought it was the fair way to do it, and I think most of the other captains have agreed with it.
Right, and finally, of course, I heard planning for 2024 started even before Forest Ballers Bowl this year.
100%, and that's the thing about this tournament. Because of the various moving parts and the challenges of getting everyone around, you have to do that. So we're quite a long way down the road already in terms of our schedule for 2024 and 2025. So we're way ahead of ourselves in terms of where and how the games will be played, which is exciting.
Hopefully we see you back here in 2025 for the final.
Well, again, that's an interesting discussion, isn't it? It's like, as you can imagine, there's a few other people that want to host the final as well. So, but listen, let's all focus on tonight and have a great evening, because I think it's going to be a classic.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
It's how we play.